All right, so welcome everybody to the first Damn Show. That's the Diamond Atari Maybe Show. Each week we'll be going over 10 KTF because that's our, one true love and that's how we all met. But as the weeks go on, we'll be talking about other topics in the NFT DGen space. I'm Atare, and I'm gonna give everybody a second to introduce themselves.
Hey everybody, I'm Diamond Hands.
Damn.
10 KTF community researcher, OG, and longtime lover of everything WAGMI. Oh, and also we host a new Tokyo News on Sunday with the amazing Netta and Atare and Alpha Alpha as well.
Awesome. So maybe I'm also OG and long-term community member at 10KTF and very involved in the female empowerment and representation movement in the NFT space and World of
World of
Women.
Women. The only place where we can really start, and me and maybe cover some of this in the 10 KTF overview that's coming out later this week. But we got to talk about the event. Diamond, I see you have a poster in the back, and this is where I met maybe in LA at the 10 KTF event. But Diamond, for you, this was the first moment for you meeting everybody else in the community, and really for them to get a chance to meet you and just be excited by the energy that you have brought every week and to experience that in person. So I man, talk us through it, like talk us through arriving at the event and everything.
Oh my goodness! So I show up and we got all the legends: Swilson, Robo, Mez. We got Hodlin. They're all stacked up out front. Ace is out there, and I run into Brandy was there. I met Brandy immediately when I got there, and so just the chance to like get together. I hop out of the Uber, and like let me just tell you, riding around in Ubers in New York was just a real dandy for me. I couldn't figure out the subway system for anything. So yeah, Uber saved my tail for sure. So we hop out of the Uber, and there's all these just legends stacked up outside, and so immediately it's just hugs, 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 and then we notice the VIP lines just as long as the general line. Like VIP is all up in here, right? Like the OGs are clamoring at the bit to get in, right? Uh, and then next thing you know, Wisdom was up front, and I hadn't met Wisdom yet, and I hadn't met Baby
Mm.
yet either by then, or there was a whole crowd of OGs that I just hadn't gotten to, uh, and so Wisdom runs up from the back, and immediately he starts like jumping, and I'm jumping, and we just wrap each other up, and it was like a big hug from there. There's no need for a handshake or any of that, and we're sitting there in the middle of the alleyway, just jumping in Brooklyn, just meeting
Oh my
together,
god.
and there was like I don't know, just something special about it, and just I don't know. I guess that was kind of like the first little peek into Brooklyn, but throughout the night it was really special to have folks trying to come up and meet me throughout the evening. I was really taken aback that everyone wanted to come up and like, oh, that's Diamond Hands. I mean, I try to leave the mullet like as nasty as I could for everybody, but just it was a really amazing experience, and not just for me but for my wife as well. My wife had an amazing time. uh, Hideki was gracious enough to spend some time, had a drink with my wife, and just spent some time catching up while I was just chatting it up with the community. An absolute, I mean, it's a night that I truly never will forget. One of the most special nights of my life. I'm 35 years old. I've had some really great nights, but that one night, I've been waiting so long to meet so many online friends, and I don't have to call them online friends anymore. They're my friends, So it's just something really special. And so I did steal this from the party. Figgy run at the end of the night, and I let him know. I said, Figgy, I did. I told you that I was going to steal the drink coasters, and I didn't see any drink coasters, so this was as good as I could do. So
Awesome.
A bit bigger than a drink coaster, but I love that you were able to get it all the way out to LA or California. How did you tell us the story of like you trying to get that on the plane, or was it the FedEx?
we had to FedEx it. Yeah, and the FedEx like we took it to a FedEx in Brooklyn, and they said, yeah, no, we don't really do packing or anything like that. And I was like, well, do you have let me buy a really big box. And so like I bought a big box, like split it in two, taped the ends of it, and got it shipped off, and got it back home, luckily, because if it didn't end up happening, I don't know what I'd do. I told my wife I'd bend this thing 18 different ways if I had to get it in the suitcase to get it home, you know. But we got lucky; it was just one bend.
It looks
The
awesome.
integrity of the whole thing really held up. So shout out to whoever
It
from
looks
Possible
awesome.
threw this down. I know Possible had a huge end on putting that party together. So Possible Productions, y'all are amazing.
I'm trying to remember the exact point where I met you, Diamond, but it was honestly like it was like a celebrity sighting because I saw you talking to Figgy and I'm like, oh shit, like Diamond. And one, I told you this in person. I was like, you're way taller than I expected. I don't know what I don't know what I was imagining, but I'm like, damn, like you're like 6'4". I'm like, we've talked about basketball before, but like, I'm like, okay, I can see you now. Like you're probably dunking on these fools, crossing them out.
I'm 35. I was just telling my wife, I like 35. I haven't been up above the rim. I dunked, I dunked last year for sure. But like at 36, I gotta
Mm.
keep that trend going. My dad last dunked when he was 42, so I'm just trying to live up to that.
Whoa.
We'll see how it goes. Fingers crossed. But yeah, no, I'm nice with the rock in my hand. I love to hoop. I'm hoping to get a 10 KTF basketball team together. I know NFTBA does some basketball events at the different NFT events going on, and really looking forward to having a 10 KTF team with some dope. I'm gonna chill out to Figgy on this. Hopefully, 10 KTF will produce the jerseys, and we can get some free physical
Ooh.
Oh my
squad. Whoever's
god.
playing on the team gets one of them jerseys, one of
That
them
would be
KTF things.
awesome.
Uh, for me, that would be an absolute like pie in the sky moon utility for me. So we'll see how it goes. And I know, hey, maybe said she was gonna play on. We were talking about it in the chat. Our team will be awesome. We will be stacked. Hey y'all, we're not walking away without any hardware. I'm going home with the championship with 10 KTF. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go.
Yes.
The
I
Wagme,
used
the
to
Wagme
play
ballers.
a long time ago.
You see, that's what it's all about. My wife's trying to get into. I know Wisdom plays. I know Alf's real serious about his basketball too. Bert, Bert J was trying to hoop with us too. The OG. So we've already got like a 7-10 man to 10 person squad. My bad to the ladies. We are keeping that unit gender. We're gonna work that all out. But everybody's welcome. We're gonna have a good time.
Love that.
Awesome.
Maybe when did you meet Diamond Hands?
Okay, so I met Diamond Hands was like I was already inside, and I started to hear around that he was in. It was like, oh, Diamond Hands got in finally. You're gonna see him soon. I was like, oh my god, where is he? And then I think we met at the door between the bar area and the other room with the truck, and I was like, oh my god. First of all, I'm short, like I'm pretty small girl, so I was like, oh my god, Diamond, you're enormous. But I remembered him because he doxed himself in a Zoom
The very
call
first one.
like months and months ago. So I was expecting that kind of, you know, face because I saw his face, but I didn't know it was so tall as well. But it was awesome. We were like, finally, we've been waiting for this forever because also the day that he was at the like many of our community members were at the Ranga party. I couldn't go because I had like that day I had already like 3 other parties that I had to attend, so that's why I couldn't meet him until the day of the 10 KTF party, but it was magical. It was awesome. It was like finally, it's crazy talking like almost every day for months and months and
Yeah.
months and doing the spaces together. It's so crazy. It was awesome.
I mean, the interesting thing was that, especially after the LA event, I felt that there really was no difference for me anymore of like online friends that I knew on Discord and like real life friends, um,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
of the like you can care and know about people that you haven't met. Like it sounds weird to say, but because it's almost obvious, but when we think about it in the grand scheme of things, like 10, 15 years ago, this wasn't really a thing. You didn't really meet people from across the country or the world and like have an instant connection based on like months and months and months of like, connecting over something. So just the whole concept of online communities, and then really I think the NFT space has, I think, leveled up that, because now you have a stake in the community beyond just like an interest. You have NFTs in it, and so um, my takeaways after NFT LA was that, okay, in real life events are the lifeblood of NFT projects, and then it was even like further bolstered because of NFT NYC. The one thing I will say is that cramming that many events in 1 week did a number on my feet and my sleep. There were so many
Yeah,
things going on, and honestly,
crazy.
it took me like a week and a half to fully recover. And I was lucky where I didn't get sick after, and I still needed like some time for my
Same.
sleep to get back on track.
Agree, agree. It was crazy. I had like 3 to 4 events per day that week, and I did everything. I didn't skip anything. I was like, this is my schedule and I'm gonna go for it. And I did everything I had to do, to the point that people were asking me, but you're everywhere. How is it even possible? I was like, yes, this is my schedule and I'm going for it. But yeah, it was crazy. Probably like for someone traveling also so long. I live in New York, so it was kind of more comfortable for me. But for someone like you, Diamond, like they had to travel so long, probably pretty exhausting, right?
It took me 31 hours to get from Brooklyn, my hotel, when I checked out, to my front door here in
Oh my god.
California. So like a layover, like a 9.5 hour layover in Las Vegas. Just hey,
Oh.
just all the good stuff. Realized I was sick. Like once we got in the plane, like once the plane took off, I sneezed and like started like, and I was like, oh my gosh, like we're literally like we just left Las Vegas on our way to our last leg in Sacramento, and I'm like, babe, we need to get home ASAP. Like I don't I don't know what's going on. We just need to get home ASAP. I mean, it was a lot, but at the same time, I think one thing that I noticed, highlight for me during the week was, the individual events, how awesome those individual events were. But then there's also that hub going on with NFT NYC at the Marriott, and like we had a friend that was staying there, and so like we were able to like get into like I wouldn't even have went in there had I not had a friend. But like once you got on to like the second and third floor, it was kind of pretty open area, just walking around, and just seeing like all the multitude of folks on this first 7 floors, just tables, people, basically everywhere. That was pretty, it was pretty awesome. But like where all the real alpha was, it seemed to be, was at the individual events. And so really lucky to be able to attend a few of those. But I'll tell you what, for not living in New York, trying to get around to event, yeah, no, my Uber bill was absolutely ridiculous, but all worth it at the end of the day. Absolutely one of the best experiences of my life. And like Atare is saying, relating to like those online friends, and then like solidifying that, the opportunity to give the hugs, to realize, people's, when I met Tails, I was like, oh my goodness, Tails, like you're almost like 6 feet tall. I was expecting you to be like 5 foot like 6 for some reason. And like I was just like, wow. To me, I don't know, just a few of those experiences for me as well. Like when Hideki walked into the Ranga party, I was like, that's Bill. I know that. Like I didn't even Hideki. I was just like, oh my, and like stood up immediately. It was like, I don't know. It was just a really, I don't like for someone that I've never met before, like absolute like fanboying over like random friends. You know what I'm saying? Like there are a few people I was just so
Yeah.
excited to meet, and a couple people I never got to meet that I'm like, I knew they were there, but like I I just didn't. There was so much going on. I'm really looking forward to the next party, wherever it is, whatever's going down. I will absolutely be there. Trust.
And I think, yeah, that's something that I'm interested about, because we can loop this into 10 KTF. So right now, it's in intermission, and the last thing we left off was the video that we saw at the 10 KTF event, and it ended with saying, "Act Two, a kaiju problem." So now there's a 2 week intermission. It looks like some of the shopkeepers are on vacation based on some of the Twitter activity that we've been seeing.
Yes, they're traveling.
So it's nice to see them, get a break from New Tokyo and use that portal to visit other countries and Europe and all of that. I don't want to say specific locations or names or anything like that, but where do you guys see this leading into on the 14th? Because that's the next date where there is something that's going to happen in 10 KTF. Conveniently, and I'll leave the question off with this. Conveniently, I believe the other side demo for the community is on the 16th of July. So just tinfoil a little bit, but we don't really need to say that anymore because we've seen that bottle of Coda juice in IRL as well now, but we've seen it across the board with 10 KTF. So I wanted to ask you guys, what do you guys see happening after this intermission?
Well, regarding the other side thing, I don't want to go too crazy with it, because I remember last time when there was the launch of the other side and everything, we were expecting so many things, and then absolutely nothing happened. Like nothing happened. We were like, okay, we have this Coda juice in the shop and everything, but like it felt like the launch of the other deeds and the mint and everything happened separately, like it was like their own thing. I absolutely believe that there is a connection. This time is a bit different because I believe that since the demo is starting, we could be seeing, like it can happen that we will see some 10 KTF or Wagmi-san things inside the game. Like I'm actually thinking that this time it could happen, since on the other side website, you see that they were looking for contributors, and I'm pretty sure that 10 KTF it's part of those core contributors that are gonna be part of the other side. Like I'm convinced of this, and I'm pretty sure that you're convinced of this too, that they're like really intertwined with that project. So maybe it's possible that with the launch of the demo, we're gonna see some Easter eggs inside the other side as well, something that will remind us of Wagmi-san or New Tokyo. Maybe, I don't know, a sign to New Tokyo this way, and we're gonna be what? What is this? Even if there's not gonna be actually the actual New Tokyo there, but just something that will make us think that there is a part of the other side where we can reach New Tokyo. So, well, this is opium, obviously, but yeah, I kind of think that this can happen. I don't think that the 14th is related to that. Sorry. I think that it was gonna be 14th anyway, because it's Thursday, and they're taking like this week's with this week's off, and they really work a lot. So I'm not expecting them to take too much time off, because that's what they are. They really are into this, and they take some time off, but then they're back at it immediately. So I don't know if the 14th was related to that, probably just because it's a Thursday. But yeah, like you said, I'm expecting to see some Easter eggs in the other side demo, and I'm happy that I can take part in it, because I own an other deed. So I will be happy to do some research for the whole community, try to find, for the people that cannot actually enter the other side, I will try to dig as much as I can into it.
No, I think that's a great point. I think, leading up to the other side on the 16th, with our peek into the 14th, knowing that there's a little time there, the team is busy. The team's never not busy. That being said, it kind of gives that 2 weeks for. I mean, I don't think it'll be another video production as high quality as we saw with that video that they
Mhm.
produced for the party. Um, but like a few nuggets that kind of lead to maybe a larger story. We know that we have the 893 Genesis that like I'm still like trying to like sift through that 893 Genesis, and then also taking a peek at that I've been watching just that arcade machine over in the corner, as far as like maybe like a little peek to a game or something, Battlestar Galactica style, like 16-bit low key style game, maybe. Kind of giving us a peek at the bridge to what could be our S tier. I think that there's going to be some time before we get to that S tier game. The renders that we're seeing are absolutely incredible, but it's going to take a little time to get there. So like that bridge in between the battle dot town and what the battle for New Tokyo will end up being. Hopefully the other side will fill some of that, and I don't think it's an accident that we see Curtis leaping in the improbable.io little video that kind of gave us a peek into what they're building. Um, Curtis leaping there, and then the floating structures, the floating little pieces of land that we're seeing, knowing that New Tokyo is a city that's floating on a river of Ethereum, and so this whole floating land type gig kind of leads to this larger story, these larger bridges to this story, I think. And I don't own an other deed, but I've been talking to the wife, and it's like with the price of Ethereum right now, like we might need to make that leap. So
Nice.
let's see what that looks like.
Love that. So honestly, one of the things that I think about is when you think about when we got that map, we got that back in November at the last NFT NYC when we had that scavenger hunt, and it was on that map that said New Tokyo floats on a river of Ethereum. And one of the things that I love about this community and I think the team is that when they plant a seed or they plant a hint, we can trust in them to to get a payoff of that at some point in the future. And so that's why we can go back 6 months or however many months it's been now and still point out to those hints because they're so detailed and meticulous in how they like operate and move that we can stay that and not feel like we're just grasping at straws. So that's one of the hints that keeps coming back is that New Tokyo floats on a river of Ethereum, and then we're seeing the other side and how many like floating, mystical elements to all of this there really is. Do I think that the other side on the 16th and 10 KTF are, they're going to announce a joint thing? I don't know, but I think especially given the state of the NFT market right now, the way I see it is that even if that happens, we all get excited about that because, or some of us get excited about that because there's a possibility of like a pump, right? But I think even if there is a bit of a pump, we're in a slow period of NFTs in general. So I don't even think it's going to be that crazy. But really, when the market picks back up again, like maybe months from now, maybe a year from now, we don't know. I think that's the comfort that I find in all these connections is that I'm not in a dead end project that 6 months from now are going to lose their motivation and maybe stop because they created it during like a bull market. We're in a project that has dedicated builders, their reputation. We got Beeple, we got Gaio Siri, founder of this, Figgy obviously, and the team at Possible and all the amazing things they've done. So that's really, I think, for me, the excitement is that once they do confirm it, some whatever connection there is with the other side, it doesn't really change anything, but it does just makes me more bullish and excited about what 10 KTF could be 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, because I think Battletown and that whole concept, right? It's challenged the notion of what a video game really is. Do we need 3D graphics and cool soundtracks and all that, or do we like what is a video game? It's a bunch of people coming together and like there's a story and you're playing along and it's engaging and you get rewarded, and that's what Battletown is. And Battletown is like V1, right? What's V1.5? What's V2? What's V3? Whatever. that's the most exciting part about just 10KTF, and honestly being on this ride with you guys and all the other community. It's that like we get to degen, build our careers, live our lives, go on trips, and then have like this kind of story that's unfolding like beneath us, and that's awesome to me.
Yeah, and I don't think it's an
Agree.
accident that we saw. I mean, just a month or 2 months ago, all of our parents that we saw in the submarine in the other side all got added
Mm-hmm.
in like 1 week. That one day, all of a sudden, we
Yeah.
stacked nouns. We stacked on. Wow G got added that day. We got but
Punks.
yeah, punks came in, yeah. Mebits came in, right? And so
Yeah.
like, not I don't think that's an accident. And I've heard a theory, that 10 KTF, once again speculation, but 10 KTF might be the first like producer of physicals from the metaverse. So like, if you want to get from the other side to get your physicals, that might be like a first bridge
Mm.
opportunity. I think it's something to really think about in the larger NFT space, is like Yuga bridging out with some of these projects that aren't necessarily under the bridge of Yuga, right? Under the IP or the ownership of Yuga, like WoW, that are bridging in with Yuga on this project within 10KTF. It really is an opportunity to kind of build bigger bridges outside of just what the apes do or what WoW's doing or what Oni's doing. It kind of creates this funnel of flow for greater opportunity, and I'm really excited to see what that can look like as I mean, we can all acknowledge we're in a bit of a tough time for NFTs compared to where we were 6 months ago, right? But that being said, the at least for me, what I noticed at NFT NYC is there's a lot of people that are still really excited about the future of NFTs, and continuing to build with them and hold through whatever is, it's a bit of a bear market right now. But that doesn't mean that the great projects that have the lasting community sustainable projects, are going to see the light of the day. And that's why I'm really excited to be so deeply involved with 10KTF, and really proud of all the community who just continues to build, continues to make threads about just random. I mean, it could be something like Van Buren did the other day, just absolutely beautiful,
I love this.
right? Like, okay, I'm done. I'm writing it out now. I'm gonna tell everyone, okay? And here's a whole thread on it, right? And like, building outside of what we do with our copy pasta, right? And
Yeah.
that's a piece of what we do at 10KTF. Still being able to have fun in the middle of these tough times for a lot of projects, you know?
Diamond, to go back to one thing that you just said, that got me thinking of the partnerships and shopkeeper barista. If she's listening at some point, she wouldn't divulge any alpha IRL, but I'm just gonna pose the question or make a statement, and let's see what unfolds. But 10KTF could be the bridge for like the metaverse to IRL merchandise. We've already seen that Moonbirds had some of Wagmisan sweaters at their Moonbirds event on the wall. I don't know if you could buy them or not, but they were there. That's one thing. The second thing is that earlier in like February or March, when Gucci was introduced, they described Wagmisan as the artisan of the metaverse, right? When we think about the pattern now, the first thing was there was a partnership with Gucci, like a fine luxury brand. Now there's a partnership with Puma, right? Why is 10KTF or Renew partnering with these athletic wear or luxury wear manufacturers in real life? There's a reason, and so it's like I don't think it's just so that they could have NFTs or join like the Web3 metaverse hype train, right? Because why would Puma as like a global brand or like Gucci as a global Goliath just want to partner? Like, what's the vision that they're selling them on, or vice versa? And I think it goes back to what you said. In the future, 6 months from now, a year from now, I don't know. You could probably buy things with Ethereum that are physical, and it's like I want it on Gucci or I want it on Puma, and you'll get your PFP or whatever on a physical that's Puma or Gucci or whatever partners they end up signing in the future. I have a feeling it's going to be like another clothing brand. And that's going to become like a big thing because we've seen that the passion is there. We've seen even with the at Ape Fest, the lineups for the merch store were insane, and the amount of people that are rocking their NFT merch. Maybe he's wearing a World of Women shirt right now, so there's obviously a need for it. it's like, how do you take that and you elevate the experience where it's not just like a printed on T-shirt? It's now a branded experience with Gucci and Puma and whoever else. So I just want to put that out there. What do you guys think about that?
Like for Puma, I have to say something. Like if you read the article that came out, I don't know if it was Vogue Business or Insider or something about Puma. It says that this partnership is the biggest partnership for Puma in the Web3. Like it uses this word, like the biggest partnership they did. And for what we saw right now, we saw nothing that let's say justifies using that sentence, like the biggest partnership in Web3. We just saw some T-shirts at the event and the video where you see 10KTF. So this obviously makes me think that what we saw, it's nothing. Like we saw nothing about what's happening and what's gonna happen between 10KTF and Puma, and I love that. Like I'm pretty sure that this is how it is, and I love that we're gonna have a lot more stuff coming between Puma and 10KTF. I'm expecting NFTs, obviously, because Puma's entering NFTs, and as they say in the article, it's also like it's both physical and digital. So I'm expecting us to get something juicy probably also in the digital space for 10KTF holders. Hope so, at least. But yeah, there is a lot coming, and that's what I could get from the article.
I think
I'm gonna find also there is one tweet where there is a sentence that it's written like Wagmi-san wrote it. I don't know if you saw that. I'm gonna find, it's awesome. It's like Wagmi-san talking about his partnership with Puma. Like Wagmi-san that does a statement about it. It's so awesome, and it's in the Puma Twitter, so it's a kind of official Wagmi-san's words.
what's also interesting is that I don't think that the point of the Gucci partnership was for us to just have our PFPs in Gucci clothing. I think that we've again barely scratched the surface of what's happening at a deeper level with that partnership, because that's something that's ongoing. And
Yeah, and I think just along with what Netta was saying, the Vogue Business article, Megan McDowell does an incredible job. She's really in depth with what's going on with NFTs and like the fashion culture right now. Really a great follow on Twitter. And then looking at what she's been like talking about within that article, like she talked about Puma's making an investment in feline centric NFTs as well right now. So like 10KTF was their largest investment, but they're also making some moves in like other areas with some like Cool Cats, and there was a couple other cat branded NFTs that they bought into, and like just seeing that, and then like they showed up at the party and just started like pumping out these T-shirts for us, right? Like, and I'm not historically a Puma person, right? But like I'm excited to have Puma now, seeing what they were able to do at the party, how fast they were able to throw that together and like join what we're doing. You know, it makes me feel like awesome. Like, yeah, that's something I can get behind. Some folks that are jumping behind what I do at 10KTF, like with the community. Hell yeah, I'm 10 toes down with Puma now. I can't wait to rock some Pumas on my feet, where like I've never worn a pair of Pumas in my life. Like Lord's honest, you know. So that being said, there's these alternative bridges that, you know, they build into what we do and we build out into what they're doing. And I think that's kind of what the essence of, you know, 10K true fans, being a true fan's really about. Looking at what projects, I mean, it's crazy to say that yeah, Puma's like in on this project that like I work on at the community level, but like still, like I'm still working on this project that, thanks possible, damn. But it's just crazy to think and be adding all this up in real time. Even like the partnership with Gucci, I've never owned any Gucci before, but now I have a Gucci NFT, right? And so what these NFTs, bridges that they can build, it's not so much about utility as it is like having an opportunity to go to the Gucci party and get some of the Gucci swag that they had, right? And just these opportunities, kind of like for me, that's that highbrow culture where like if you can't tell by my mullet, like I try to like duck and dive out of that stuff. I mean, I still clean up nice, I look good in a suit, But that being said, for me, it's like that's not necessarily an area where I would look to bridge or spend my money or invest for the long term. Where like now knowing that they're a part of 10KTF and this digital future that like I can see and be a part of, um, I don't know. It's just pretty amazing to think about the way that these bridges get built. And I don't know, like people mentioning the fact that like 10KTF produces that video in house, like Possible and 10KTF did that video together. They didn't have to hire anybody outsource, bring any LA artistic managers or any production people. They had all that in house, had it sent between the team, right, and said, "Well, check this out. What do you think? Awesome." Bounce it back and forth. And the one thread that I heard through a couple different shopkeepers was, "This team is the most incredible team that I've ever worked with. I'm just lucky to be a part of it." Right. And I feel the same way as a community member at that extended community level, to be able to work and build with this team and do the daily recaps or whatever it is, right? Just to have the opportunity and know that we have their support is a pretty incredible thing in the middle of all this Web3 craziness. Seeing a team that knows what they're doing. Fucking Boss Wolf, man.
He's trying to eat your head off. He's like, you gotta give me some love. Too much love for Wagi-san.
The wall. That's what's going on.
Diamond, can you hold that Puma T-shirt up again and put the logo closer? Because that logo with 10KTF looks incredible, by the way.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Look at that logo. 10KTF with the Puma cat on top. Like that looks so good.
It's amazing, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. They got,
Super
I mean,
cool.
I don't know, just for the detail that they were able to throw on this shirt. Like these came hot off the press at the party. The fact that they were able to even pull that off, for me, was absolutely incredible. We were all clamoring about merchandise. But I know Netta has a mankini. I'm super jelly about it. But like,
Hey, whoa, I got one too. Boom, I got it. Always got it on me.
one day, y'all. I don't know what I'll have to trade. Maybe a Genesis item when Genesis's value is realized. Maybe I'll have to throw out a Genesis item for a mankini, because I'm telling you what, like I've got plans for me and a mankini and a photo shoot. Just so you know, okay?
Oh, okay. So maybe we can make it happen with one of the
Tastefully,
open ones
it will be
anyway.
tasteful, okay? Yeah.
Tastefully, of course.
We have digital
Hey,
breakfast that has it open. Low pan. I think it can happen.
I was gonna say,
Go,
I'll tell you
Diamond.
what, man. These little chicken legs and like the vibrant white that comes off these shiny little buns. I'll tell you what, whatever's gonna come out of it will be absolutely glorious. I'll be twerking as hard as I can twerk, and I've never twerked in my life before.
They're gonna YouTube how to
Right.
twerk. So my story with
We
this
need
is
that to happen.
that, I mean, it's going to happen now for sure. Before summer ends, I think it's going to happen. My story with this mankini is, as I'm packing, I'm like, do I bring my 10KTF mankini? And I'm like, yeah, of course, obviously. I'm going to 10KTF event, and so at the airport, they were checking my bag, and they were looking at all these things, and then they pulled this thing out, and the guy is like looking at it. He with his gloves on. He like looks at it, and as I'm watching him do it, I'm like, oh my god, if they open it, like I'm gonna.
No.
And I saw him like
I
think
flip.
about it, kind of felt it, and then just put it aside. And I was like, oh, thank God, because I'm like, you cannot open that. That is Grail Mankini. It's gonna lose a lot of value, and you're gonna be on the
Let
hook.
me grab mine.
Me and maybe have our Mankinis. You have that that wolf poster. I feel like there's gonna be a lot more opportunities to stack up on our 10KTF, fan merch as the weeks and months unfold.
That's right. I can't wait to get that diamond hand sign from the party. I told Bam Bam she has to mail it to me.
Yes, I love that.
But yeah, Netta,
And maybe you got yours signed by people.
Yeah, I was able to get this cute sign on this from the legend himself. Very happy about it, and yeah, like talking about people, we all know that you Diamond are like one of the biggest fans ever. So how was meeting people for you?
When I got in the party, shop barista came and was like, "You're Diamond Hands. Figgy's been waiting to meet you. Come with me." And then like trying to get to Figgy was basically like I ran into 6 friends that I was like, "Hey, what's up?" And like I I don't know. I guess I'm like crazy or whatever, but like I don't know. I was taking time with each of them, and so like at some point my wife was just like, "Babe, you gotta go. Come on. You gotta go meet Figgy." And I'm like, okay, okay. And so like I end up scooting and like I run up to Figgy and like my wife has the video and like I realize it's him and I just go up to him and I go tap tap on his shoulder, right? Tap tap. What's up, dude? And like we just have this hug. He's like, "Oh, Diamond Ants, what's up, man?" And he's like, "Oh, you're so awesome." And I'm like, "No, man, you're so fucking awesome. Like, what's going on?" And so it's like had this moment, and then like I didn't even realize I was so caught up with Figgy that I didn't even realize Beeple's literally like over my right shoulder right here. And so like people like goes walking by, like Multi's right there too, where like I've been waiting to meet Multi for so long. And so like just the chance to meet Multi was like, oh my fucking god, yes. Um like Multi does a great job in People's Discord, always asking a great question of the day. Does a great job of just holding that community down. And like is someone who like I don't know, just Multi's story of like how he became, you know, people moderator and what he does within the NFT community. You know, for winning like a dollar, he got ended up winning a dollar drop, and like one of the everydays, and
Hmm.
so one of the yeah, anyways, he won a dollar drop, and so like his story is just something that I think is absolutely amazing, and like his dedication to the NFT community at large and how he was able to kind of grow that out really is a story of making it. You know what I'm saying? So for me to like get the chance to meet him, I've been waiting forever for that. So people and Multi are kicking it over my right shoulder, and then like Figgy goes, "Oh, and have you had the chance to meet Beeple?" And like Beeple's walking by, like right by me, and then like Figgy goes, "Duh, duh, 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 hey, hey, hey," and like people's like walking and like doing his thing right in the party, and like Figgy grabs him one more time, says, "Hey, I have someone I want you to meet," and so like people turns around and like I don't know what she said. "Oh, this is Diamond Hands," and so like people's like, "Oh, this fucking guy, huh?" And like people starts coming at me like I didn't have to. It was just insane. Like I don't know. I didn't have to go out of my way. Like Beeple came up, like Figgy tapped Beeple and said, "Hey, come and meet this dude," right? And now Beeple's like, "Oh, this fucking guy, huh? Come here, man. Very nice to meet you." Like, you know, we had the hug and shit. And then I just got the chance to tell him, like, "Hey, man, like, you're an absolute like." You're an absolute legend. Like the way that you do your art on a $30 table, like you know, you make all this money. You had the opportunity to change you know people's lives in the blink of an eye, but at the same time like what happened with you and your journey, staying as grounded as you stayed, being true to your family, like seeing that core value, that money isn't going to change you, that you still drive a piece of shit Corolla, that like you know you can have all these things, and then I was like, oh, and you still wear all the same clothes. I see you wearing the same fucking clothes on every Tonight Show on, you know. And he's like, motherfucker, you noticed that too, you know. And I was like, I just got to tell you, like you and the We New team, like y'all tickle me in ways that are really hard to describe. You know, if you get if you know what I'm saying. And he's like, oh God, and like does the whole Beeple kiss, and so I'm like, fucking hey, I made Beeple blush, uh, and it was just like this
That's
moment
amazing.
where it was like just a really incredible opportunity for me to share my gratitude and how much I look up to him and what he does and one thing that I said was like in a world where ethical true north is really seems to be displaced a lot, like I really appreciate where your true north is, you know. So for me it just it I don't know, there's some things that I read through his art and I don't know, it's all subjective, right? But at the same time I'm like, this dude really gives fucks about the world, you know. And that's a person that I can get behind all day. That's a person I'm a true fan of.
Very well said. I wanted to
Awesome.
jump back. There's a cool Canada connection. I've met Multi a couple times, just up in Canada. We met at like a Bored Ape meetup initially, and like I just got amazing vibes from him, and we chatted a bunch in the fall, and then like we had a chance to catch up over dinner like months later, and then bumped into him at the party. Was not expecting to see him, and we're like, oh, like we got Canada up in here, like what's up? And just had that opportunity. And Beeple was there, so it makes sense. Multi was there, and to see him also, I think, grow his career alongside. I think he was in the space a few months, if not a little bit longer, and then I jumped in full time as well, and to I think see other people trying to maneuver the space and do right by other people, and stay grounded and ethical, and build yourself in an industry that is honestly, like, it's kind of crazy. Like, there's millions of dollars being thrown around every day on Twitter, and you're seeing all this happen, and you're just like, what's going on? And just trying to do it in an environment, I think, like, it's so unexpected, because it's, for me, it's not what I thought I'd be doing. Like, I'm 29. Like, I didn't think close to 30 I'd be doing this, and so to see other people kind of in that same journey of like, I didn't think I'd be here trying to do this, and here we are, and we're just trying to, like, just remain grounded, and as we navigate this insane world, as we're, like, building this podcast together, which I think is so special, is that um, it's this opportunity for us to uh, not only, I think, connect with each other more and build on the amazing energy we felt at 10 KTF, but it's like 6 months from now we'll be able to look back on the first episode, and we'll be able to laugh and say, yo, did you think we'd be here when we started that? Like, did you think? I'm excited to, like, really just do this weekly with you guys, and see what we can do, and like see what we can become, because I think all of us have so much potential. And one of the things that I've really internalized through 10 KTF is that if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And as somebody that's always been a lone wolf, I've always just tried to do things on my own. I think for me, 10 KTF is the first time, genuinely, that I was like, I can't do it alone. I need community. I want to be a part of something bigger than myself. I put my time and energy into 10 KTF, and to see, I think, the energy and efforts rewarded in so many different ways, which was not the expectation whatsoever, has been just so incredible. Where I'm like, okay, if you have community, you have everything. You're gonna be all right.
Yeah, we can't all make it unless we make it together, right? So I don't know. For me, I think what you said that was really resonant is like the opportunity to look back. I am like, when this damn boss wolf sign is keeps like, yeah, all of this, right? Like, I'm gonna grow from this, y'all. Next week will be better, right? And the week after that, the opportunity to get a little better. And I think, that starts in people's everydays, right? Like, that's the point and purpose. It's not about making the most perfect of perfect. It's about creating every day and learning from what you created the previous
Mm.
day, whether it was good, bad, or maybe something that was just funny that you want to try to tie into something that you're doing later, right? I don't know what it is, but I think that that's a beautiful thing. Is one thing with my everydays when I started doing the writing with the updates. I was just trying to fill a need in the community that I saw, right? Just looking at like our speculation. We had great speculation every day. Everything was just moving so quick, but it was so hard to keep a solid flow because seemed like we were just rewinding back to the old speculation of 3 days ago, right? And so like having that piece of like, hey, this is what we talked about yesterday. This is what we talked about the day before, and like to be able to line that up. It was just a contribution to the community, and we're seeing that take place now in a lot of different ways where it's not necessarily that daily speculation in alpha. Like, we know who's part of the team. We know what this team's about. We know what they can do, right? It's really about like looking for these other opportunities for that larger need for not only us as individuals, but for the project and creation and content and support, right? And that works unilaterally. That works from their end to us and from our end to them, and to the community as well. I think it really is a multitude of symbiosis. That while it all centralizes through 10 KTF, it's very decentralized in nature as far as what we're trying to do in a digital future.
Agree. Just want to add that we talk a lot about community, while like that it's like kind of the most important thing that we have in this space. And from my point of view, community, if there wasn't community, I wouldn't be here. That's the one specific thing that brought me into the NFT space, because I try to do investing in stocks and, you know, coins and other stuff. I was never able to get so engaged with what was happening. I was not like the person that was watching YouTube videos until, like, you know, 3 a.m. It was boring to me. When I discovered NFTs and the communities inside NFT projects, everything changed for me. So I'm like, for me, that's of course is the most important thing, but it's like the core thing that actually brought me here. So I will never exist without community, and that's what I want to do. Like every day, I just want to try to give something to the community in the way that I like any way I can help, I try. And there are some things that I'm very bad at, some things that I'm better at. I'm trying to understand what I can actually do that gives value. And yeah, we'll see. Like I love in real life events. That's like I love communities, and I love communities even more when we actually get to meet in person. So yeah, for me, the dream will be to actually do bigger and bigger events. Besides, because the team obviously can create events. Of course, we want those events, but they're big. They take a lot of money, a lot of resources. We want more events, and we can do smaller events. We can actually get to meet more frequently if we start that work like from our side to organize and get into other events as well. And that's really what I would like to see happening.
I mean, maybe you said it there, but without every community needs a connector, and I think that's like your special talent, because you find so much joy in connecting people. So I think any way that like myself and Diamond can help with that, like we're here for you. Like I would love to have more in-person events, and really help build this community out more. I want to end with obviously uh, every week, every weekend on Sundays, Diamond Hands hosts an incredible space called New Tokyo News. Diamond understands like alliteration, and so any title that has a little bit of alliteration is beautiful. And so New Tokyo News on Sundays.
Yeah, yeah, it is 5 p.m. Eastern. But with Netta, her time change, if that doesn't work for her, I already talked to Alf. We may be rescheduling that just to better fit the community. So we'll see about that. But for right now, yes, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time,
Thank you.
5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sundays.
Perfect. Okay. Well, we're gonna see you guys back here next week on the Damn Show.
Bye.
Thank you. This was awesome. Oh, damn, boss wolf.